Hello everyone. We've been extending our webinar series. This time we're looking at CCTV and access control in Scada. Things have changed since 2002 when we started doing this on critical national structures here in the UK. We explain that, and then my colleague Mikhail comes along and shows you all the wonderful things you can do with real-time and recorded video streams within the Scada environment. So enjoy the video. Director, cue that video.
Welcome everybody to the Panorama Security Pack webinar. Thank you for your time today to come along and participate, and we hope you will enjoy what we have to show you today. So the agenda for today is that I'm just going to position the Panorama Hypervision platform. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about site security and access control. Then Mikhail is going to work his magic on the product, which is what you're all really here to see, of course. We'll just do a quick summary at the end of that, and then we'll go into a Q&A session where you will use the chat to send us some questions. So we'll give you a little bit more at that at the time. So let's get on. For those of you that are not familiar with Panorama, which is a few of you on the webinar today, then Panorama is a real-time data platform. It's generally used to collect data from operational technology networks, the PLCs, RTUs, controllers, I/O systems, that type of thing. It allows you to centralize the information in the Panorama platform. It allows you to build applications so that you can process the data, you can derive secondary data from it, and you can create HMI and data presentations and do data analysis. This allows an end user to operate, maintain, and optimize installations, equipment, sites, whatever's being run by the Panorama system, and also for them to extend their capabilities using the Panorama platform, because it's perfectly extendable. Panorama can display data in as a thick client, the sort of thing that you would use in your control room. For remote operators, the sort of thing that you would have on Android and Apple smartphones and tablets, and also into the IT network of the business using dashboard and reporting with our H² product. So Panorama is a super platform for doing your OT to IT network and business conversions. Panorama, we have a big flag in Panorama, and we sell it as a Scada package. That does it a little bit of a disservice because it's a lot more than just a Scada package. So basically, most people do use it as a Scada package. They use it as a process monitoring system and a command and control system. But Panorama is equally at home doing building management, energy management, access control, intruder detection, asset management, etc., etc. Basically, anything that you've got real-time data on or from, so I should say, whether that's from an OT network, an IT network, or in fact an IoT network. Panorama can bring all that data together, and Panorama can not only directly get information from the equipment itself, it can actually get data from subsystems. So basically lower level SCADAs that go to a higher level SCADA. When we have this higher level SCADA concept, we actually, instead of calling this a super SCADA or an overarching SCADA, we actually refer to it as a Hypervision system. So that's what we mean when we're talking about Hypervision, basically having a series of subsystems which stand alone in their own right, but which Panorama brings together the data from, and you can operate all those subsystems together through a Panorama Hypervisory platform. So a little bit more about benefits of when we run Panorama in a hypervisory mode. First of all, it allows you to retain those lower level systems. That allows you to use those for what they were designed to do, for specialist uses, or for backup systems, for incident control systems and things like that. It allows you to retain the brands and the equipments that are all down there. It means that you can have multi-brands and bring them all together in Panorama. And in fact, when you go out and buy a new system, you can force the suppliers to be open rather than closed. Which means that they don't hold a gun to your head later for high maintenance costs. So Panorama as a Hypervision system integrates many different systems together, whether it's directly the equipment or whether it's from subsystems. And in Panorama, you can contrast, compare and analyze the information from all these different sources. This basically brings a centralized, common, integrated tool for your business intelligence that you can deliver to all parties of your business, from your operational right through to your management and senior management. And that means that you can use Panorama to merge and centralize all your business level data and reporting. So this concept of one unified hypervision system means that you've only got to invest in one top-level overarching system, this concept of hypervision. And yet you can still keep all the specific functions of for very specialist groups and for certain operations, and you can do that through the configuration of the Panorama application. So basically it addresses the best of both worlds in this sense. Let's have a look now at the evolution of security systems, which generally tend to be of a hypervision type. So the first thing to say is that Panorama itself, and particularly for new people here, you can take third-party APIs and you can use our user class technology to make these into functions within the Panorama platform. So this needs a little bit of programming, because you would take the API, you would wrap it into a .NET object and present it to the Panorama platform. Then you've got a new function in Panorama, just as if Coder had delivered it for you. But it does take that programming skill, which not everybody has. Connectivity to CCTV equipment over the sort of last 10 years has increased. It's opened up immensely. So you can access things like camera arrays and things like that from CCTV systems. But these type of data are not the same as you would get from a PLC using Modbus. It's a different type of data type, a different type of data handling, and so it needs a different skill. And so not everybody has these skills. So we've taken this idea of programming and skills and looked at what has been a big emergence in the market of the security, which is independent video management system suppliers. These are the sort of products that you see controlling town centre or city centre CCTV systems. So you know the big banks of video walls and an operator sitting there just looking at what's going on, being prompted by some data analysis to incidents that are occurring around and about. So we've been working with a couple of our partners over the last few years to integrate VMS systems, because this is a nice gateway into the world of video. And so it takes away some of these necessities that we've mentioned earlier, and particularly as we've brought the programming skills, we've brought the understanding of the IT system layer that needs to be around here, and wrap them up into a nice, easy product for people. So why have we interfaced to VMS systems? Well, basically, VMS systems basically allow us to integrate to many different types of video equipment. So it's as I said before, a gateway into the world of video. That means you can choose your own cameras, you can choose your own digital video recording systems, etc., etc. And just with one interface that exists to the VMS system, you can have access to all those functions and features. So that brings this gateway concept. So what we've done in our interface through to the VMS systems is we've tried to present Panorama in a more sort of Scada way of doing things. So it's much more understandable for somebody that's putting a Panorama application together who is used to Scada. We've tried to make the objects device level, so that it makes it more equivalent. It's more in the way that you would think to put a Scada system together, and of course because it's a product, we roll all these interfaces forwards, so bringing in the new functions, the new features, etc., and we look after the maintenance of that. So again, that's something by using this interface that you don't need to worry about. So we've done the VMS integration for the Genetec products, for the Milestone products, and for the Geutebrueck products. These are the ones that we've already got installed with our partners. We brought those products together, and we're putting this in an offering which we call the Panorama Security Pack. So not every single function and feature has been implemented to date, and we only have these 3 VMS products. So if there's any more VMS products, if there's any more functions and features, we're open to discussions and working with you as our partners to deliver those within the Panorama Security Pack. So again, you can help drive what's in this going forwards. But don't forget, if you've got really specific elements, such as a very specific camera that you want to embed into Panorama, there's nothing wrong in doing what I mentioned earlier, which is basically to go back to the user classes and have a specific integration with that. So again, keep talking to us about what you want to do with your video within your Scada application, and we'll be able to give you lots of help and lots of pointers and lots of understanding. So just to summarize here for my bit, basically Panorama brings you a multivariable Hypervision system. It allows you, oh, sorry, I didn't get my click then. It allows an ease of integration of CCTV systems in a way that you would think about putting Scada systems together. You have your choice of cameras and your DVRs still from the world of video. You can combine many different subsystems. If you look on the left hand side towards the bottom here, you can combine in a hypervisory system other subsystems with your VMS. So your building management system, your facilities management, your data center information management system, access control, intrusion detection, intercom, fire detection, etc., as well as all your traditional control system stuff. So a very, very flexible offering from us, and this allows you in the hypervisory environment to centralize your operations, your business analysis, and your reporting. So don't forget to talk to us about what you want to do with a CCTV. We're willing to add these new features. We're looking for other VMS products that we should be integrating along with the 3 that we are delivering today, and of course we can help with the specific integration requirements. So hopefully that's given you a quick overview of where we are, where we're coming from, and what's available. And I guess now you want to see some magic from my colleague Mikhail. So I'm going to hand over to him, and he'll go through the practicalities and show you what this is all about. So Mikhail, over to you, mate.
All right. So I will launch now a Panorama application. As Chris has said, we are integrating the security pack in the Panorama application, and as you see here, it's a Panorama application like any other one, and like any Panorama application, we can manage users. So basically, I will connect to my application using this admin user. And I will come back on this later, on this user management, but first I will give you an overview of the technical architecture we have here for this demonstration. So basically I'm there on my demo PC, and I'm using a one-screen context for this application for the sake of the webinar. So the same application I will show you today can also be used with 2 screens, 3 screens. Do you listen to yourself? No. 2 screens, 3 screens without any problems. One Panorama application can be used for several contexts, 1 screen, several screens, any screen you want. And the idea, as Chris mentioned earlier, is that we will communicate with different subsystems. First of all, the security pack allows you to discuss with a video management system. In this case, we chose the Milestone X Protect, but we could have used the security center of Genetec or the Geutebrueck VMS without problem. The idea behind this communication with the VMS is to be independent of camera constructors. In our case, here you can see we have several cameras behind the VMS and also several PTZ cameras, but we are independent of those constructors since we are communicating only with the VMS. Just to precise also, there are 2 different flows between the Panorama application and the VMS. One flow between the workstation and the VMS, which is a flow for the video streaming, and a second flow between the functional server of the Panorama application and the VMS. This second flow on the functional server is for the alarms that comes from the VMS. And as Chris mentioned, the idea of an Hypervision, a Panorama Hypervision, is to federate several different acquisitions, and the idea here is to federate the data coming from the VMS with other subsystems. And in our case, we will communicate also with an access control server. You can see it here. And this access control server has some doors, some motion detectors, some badge readers. And finally, we can also have other native acquisitions, some things that are more traditional, I would say, in the building management systems or Scada systems, which are OPC UA, Modbus, SNMP, BACnet, and so on. So my presentation will be in 2 directions. The first one will be I will show you what we can do natively with the security pack. And in a second time, I will show you how to make an Hypervision, making interaction between those security pack data with other data. So the first thing we want to do with the security pack is to access live streaming from our cameras. You can see here on the right, I have the list of the available cameras. If I click one, I can access to the live streaming of this camera. As you can see, it's currently recording through a wall in another room in our premise in Massy here in France. But I also have one camera just on my desk here. And this camera happens to be a PTZ camera. And as you have seen there, when I clicked and selected this camera, the joystick here appeared, and I can now use it to control the PTZ of my camera. I can control it through a joystick here I have implemented. I can zoom in, zoom out also. And I can also control it directly through the picture by left-clicking here directly on the picture. And the other thing we can do using this live streaming of the camera is we can access the different presets. Presets are there. If I left-click on the one, then I have access directly to a preset position of the camera. Finally, one last feature we implemented in the security pack concerning the live streaming is the possibility to add a bookmark on the camera. So here I'm adding a bookmark. This bookmark will be sent, of course, to the VMS and will be available later for analysis in the VMS or in the Panorama application. A second important feature we have in the security pack is also the possibility to access the replay of the camera. I will come back to the same camera here. And as you can see here, you have the bookmark I set just earlier today. And also I can access, by clicking there, I can access to different events in the past. Over there, I'm in the past even before the bookmark I added. Even in the past, I can add a new bookmark if I want. That will appear later on the timeline there. And when I'm in this replay mode, I can do several things. I can accelerate the video if I want. I can also slow down if I want. I can go reverse and such things. And last feature we added recently is the timeline. By clicking directly on the timeline, I can access directly the timing I want on the replay streaming. So that's those two main features we have in the security pack, accessing live streaming and replay streaming of the VMS. The idea now is to use those two features to create an Hypervision in Panorama and to combine them with other systems in order to give, let's say, intelligence to our system. So the first thing we can do is we can build, for instance, a monitor wall it's a pure Panorama monitor wall, and using the drag and drop functionality of Panorama, we can create this monitor wall and select what camera we want to see where. In this case, we made the choice to have 8 monitors, but we can have any number we want and any size we want also. So that's one possibility, having this monitor wall, this embedded monitor wall in the Panorama application. One other possibility that exists is that we can control, via Panorama, we can control the external monitor wall. For instance, for Genetec Security Center, they have something called the security desk, and Panorama can control the security desk by saying, I want to see this video streaming on this particular tile. So for instance, if you have an alarm coming from another system in Panorama, you can control the VMS and control the monitor wall of the VMS to display the according video streaming. One second thing we can do in Panorama is alarming. We have an object, a native object in Panorama, which is the alarm, and this alarm can come from several different subsystems. Over here you can see 4 different alarm windows, grouping alarms coming from an access control system, fire alarms, sabotage alarm, and also, of course, the alarms and events coming directly from the VMS, the different VMS. And the idea is, since they are all Panorama alarms, you can use Panorama functionalities to analyze them. In this case, I have 4 different alarm windows, but I can have one unified alarm windows if I want, in order to see some relation between alarms between the different systems. And one functionality more we can have is, for instance, for an alarm, I can link it. Here it's an alarm related to a door, but I can link it to a video streaming. And for instance, here, if I click information, I can access directly, starting from the alarm, directly access the live streaming of the video camera we have. Another thing we can do in a Panorama Hypervision is to create a map of our different equipments. Here I have a map of my building and I have different equipments, the fire detectors, badge readers, the cameras, and so on. And the idea here is I can also use the drag and drop capability to create a mini monitor wall over there. But I can also, for instance, right click on the camera and get also directly the live streaming. This can allow you this functionality, for instance. Let's say I'm in the control room of my building and one colleague is calling me. He's in front of the door number 4 and wants me to unlock using the control system, the access control system. He wants me to unlock the door. I'm in front of my Hypervision. What do I want to do? I will display the live flux, the live flow, right-clicking on the camera. I will assure that the colleague asking for me to open the door is alone and that it is, of course, the right colleague. And then I can control from here the access control system and unlock the door. And then, of course, close this pop-up. So that's an idea of what we can do to combine several subsystems, the access control system and the VMS subsystem. Another case of combination of different subsystems is the following. In this case, I have an alarm coming. So basically, the last triggered alarm is the following. I have an intrusion alarm on the ground floor on my motion detector number 4. So here I have directly the map, the relevant map of the ground floor is displayed. I have in red there my motion detector that say there is an alarm over there. And I have over here the live streaming of the related camera, the camera related to this motion detector alarm. So that's an idea, again, combining the different functionalities of different subsystems. Finally, one last feature of a Panorama application is, again, the alarm window. But in this case, I have there on the right, I have all the logs of my access control system, which says, for instance, Mr. X swiped in on badge reader number 5, and so on. So I have all the different badge reader access. And the idea is, since it's Panorama events, and I'm in a Panorama event windows, in this case, I can use the features of this Panorama event window to make some filtering. For instance, here, I want to have only the badge reader number 1. Or I can also use the functionality of grouping. I want to group the events by badge name. And in this case, I have the count of the different badges around the period I selected over there. So here I'm analyzing only the 7 last days. And one last feature is I can perform some quite quick filtering. Again, typing directly the event, part of the event label, I can access directly the relevant event. So this is one usage of the event window. Another usage is we can create a detailed audit trail of my application. I was saying at the very beginning, we are in Panorama application, we can manage users. In this case here, you can see that I can track all the user action on my supervision. In this case, I connected to my machine at 12:17. Then admin logged in the system, and then we can see that admin navigating from some views to other views. He selected some cameras to watch it live, some other to watch it in replay. Admin displayed also the map of first floor, underground, and so on. So you can create your own audit trail using those Panorama events and can log any events you want to track user action on the supervision. Finally, one last thing I want to show you is how to use it in the Panorama application. So the idea is, for this security pack, we are providing users with 4 different objects. I'm showing you here the documentation of these objects. So basically, we have 2 workstation objects. The first one is a server proxy. This enables the Panorama HMI to get the video stream. So in the server proxy, we will configure the IP of the VMS and such things. And then a second workstation object is the video display. So basically, you will add in each of your views in your Panorama application a video display to have access to the camera you want to display. In addition to these workstation objects, we have 2 functional objects. The alarm proxy, which is communicating with the VMS to get the alarms, of course. So again, you have here to configure the IP of the VMS and so on. And we have one second object, which is the camera management. You have to declare one camera management for each camera if you want to manage precisely each camera. So to get the availability of the cameras, the related alarms of this camera. So these are the 4 objects we provide for each subsystem, each VMS in the security pack. And in addition to this, we provide you also with some reference application, I would say, so some Panorama application showing you how to integrate this in your Panorama application. For instance, here I will open the Milestone reference app, and you have here a demo application that allows you to understand how to implement the different objects I mentioned just before.
So we just look at some of the key points now. First of all, Hypervision is a native thing to Panorama. It's just this overarching Scada, so it's quite natural for a Panorama application to talk to equipment and also to subsystems. The rise of independent VMS products has sort of led us to where we are today and has enabled us to have the type of integration that you've just seen. So it's through the VMS products that you get this high level of integration, and we're able to supply this open system interface, which we call the Panorama Security Pack. And yet we can still do the special cases. So if a VMS system doesn't suit your CCTV needs, there is still the specific developments which are available, and we can help with them too. So hopefully we've got everybody's case covered there. Sort of CCTV use cases. Typically, we've been using them in access control for banks, for military and nuclear sites, that type of thing. Remote monitoring is another one where you've got remote sites or remote equipment. Video added into the Scada application just gives you another dimension of data for operators. So not just the Scada application information, but also they can see physically what's going on. Obviously, the domain of buildings, stations, car park management, that type of thing. I think most people can recognise that that's ideal for having CCTV use. But you can also do a local machine vision as well. I wanted to mention here, I'm talking to a customer at the moment that's doing a welding machine, and they've got a specialist CCTV camera that monitors the weld. And what they want to do is take the information from the PLC and the video from the camera, and that wants to be their sort of report about the weld. So they're the sort of things that we're doing, and I'm sure that you've got lots and lots of other different types of applications that you have in mind that you'd like to do. So please do come along and talk to us afterwards. So hope you've enjoyed what we've had in terms of the presentation today. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.